Good afternoon, Eddie here. You know, if I want to do a quick video here for my dearest friend, Jules Brassner. You know, this morning I got up, it was a somber morning. I got all dressed up in black, I picked up Rosemary, we go down there to the Jewish funeral home, and we go in there, and with all his friends and family, and the rabbi up there giving his talk with the pictures of Jules up on the wall, running around on the camera. You know, it's heart-touching. You know, just like with any funeral, it becomes a very sad and humble situation. But you know what? After sitting in the back there, in the back row, watching what's going on, and they're up there giving the eulogy. Well, you know what? After listening to their eulogy, Eddy's got a eulogy. Okay? And for the listening audience, I want to give you a little background. I've been down here since 2003, moved here full-time 2006. I moved into my condo building. Before I knew it, I became the secretary on the board of directors, and then went right from vice president to the president from there on after. 141 residents in there. One of the dearest residents I met out of all the 100 and so that were in there that I got to know personally on a one-on-one basis, I meet Rosemary Broncardo. Rosemary introduces me to her man, Jules Brassner. Well, let me tell you something. At that time, Jules was 86 years old. I took one look at this man, and I said, look at him. He's got a jacket on. He's got a shirt and a tie. He's got brand new ostrich skin loafers on. He says, Eddie, we want to take you out to eat. Well, you know what? Guess what? Where does he take you to eat? Right to Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago. All I want to tell you is for the 10 years that I knew this man, no matter what it was, he'd come down to my store at the consignment store in Palm Beach. He'd come down to my place in Lake Avenue, at my consignment store down there. No matter where that man went, he was always styling and profiling. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to be just like that man. I'm going to get dressed up, and I'm going to style and profile like this man. And when he would come in, he'd say, hey, Eddie, we're taking off for China. I said, you're going to China? Yeah, we're leaving for a month. I'm going to walk the China Wall. This was a year ago. You understand? 95 years old, he's walking the Great Wall of China for a month. Before that, he's over there in Beijing. He's over there in Shanghai. He's over there in France. You want to go stay at the Jean Saint-Pierre over there? He's been at every five-star hotel around the world. The man put together the Japanese museum. He sold them more paintings than any place, anybody else available. Him and Hammer Galleries put it all together. This man, Andy Warhol, let me tell you something about Andy Warhol. When Andy Warhol was this big and he was a nobody, Jules takes him under his wing and says, you know what? You're going to do a couple paintings and I'm going to make you famous. And you know what? We all know what an Andy Warhol painting sells for today. You understand what I'm talking about? As I'm sitting over there and Donald Trump comes over to the table and he says, Mr. Brassner, you are my hero. Now coming from Donald Trump, the man that insults everybody the world over, he has no kindness for anybody when it comes to Donald Trump. For him to come right here and say, Jules, you are my hero, that means a lot, okay? Because the fact of the matter is, no matter what Jules did in his life, he did it the best. No question about it. When it came to wine, unless it was the finest wine, unless it was the best champagne, whether it was the best food, because I've been to Trump over 150 times, and I can tell you, when that man walked in that front door, they rolled out the red carpet, they took care of him, and he was the best. And it didn't matter as long as you were well fed, and you were happy. That's all that Jules cared about. And you know what? Everybody gets upset. The man was 97 years old. 97. Never sick a day in his life. And only the last 56 days, guess what? You couldn't get better odds than that if you went to Vegas and tried playing over there. The man lived the outstanding lifestyle. He impacted people around the world. When you're sitting there and he's telling you that he's having a drink with the Aga Khan, The Aga Khan himself, New Year's Eve, he's having a toast with the Aga Khan. The man was almost a century old, and he's impacted people around the world, from Japan to France. He owned a French chateau. He's owned homes in Palm Beach. He Trump. He owned everything over at Trump. The man was a self-made, and what he did, he was at a young age. He always wanted to live the best life, and he worked hard as a testament from an immigrant that come over here from New York, comes to Palm Beach and makes himself what he does today, an icon, a legacy. So there's no reason to be sad. There's no reason to be upset. The man lived longer than most of us will ever dream. He's been around the world more times than the American Airlines. Okay? There ain't no American airline pilot that's 97 years old flying around the world more than what Jules Brassner did. And as far as I'm concerned, he's always going to be there. Every time you see me all dressed up, style and profile, with a shirt and a tie, how many 96-year-old men do you know puts on a custom-made suit with a leopard shirt and gets away with it? Ostrich shoes, that's what it's all about, whether he is wearing his alligators or whether he's wearing his ostrich. That's what Jules Brassner was about. So in closing, from around the world, if you go on Google and you type in Jules Brassner, you're going to see a portrait of him by Andy Warhol. You're going to see him, the curator over there at the Japanese Museum. He's a most wonderful man. I wish everybody would have got to know him. But you go to Google, you can see everything of what Jules Brassner and 97 years of life had to impact, especially in my life. Woo!